Hey guys, you're back with Steph and Dennis, and today we're sharing absolutely everything that you need to know about budgeting. We've done a few different videos in the past about our personal budgets, how much we spend in a month, how we go about our budgeting process, everything like that. And we've even shared our free budget template in those videos too. And today's a big day because we've completely revamped, redesigned, reimagined, just overall improved our free budget template for you. So today we're going to be talking about how to budget, why it's important, and how to get started. But then we're actually going to jump right into the actual budget template that we use in our process and show you exactly how you can use it too. And at the end of the video, you'll also have it linked down in the description box below for you again to download for free. So make sure you head there after this video is done and grab that for yourself too. So if you're excited for this video and more videos just like it to come, show us some love down below, hit that like and subscribe button for us, and let's jump right into the content.
Okay, so no matter where you're at within your money journey, you've definitely touched on budgeting at some point or another. I know we've talked about it so many times on our channel, but at a high level, budgeting is the process of knowing where your money's going. And it's also prioritizing your spending versus your saving versus your investing. You know, it's interesting because it's one of those things where if you're not currently in the habit of doing it, you're not in the habit of budgeting, then it might seem like something that's super annoying, takes a lot of time, is a lot of work. But literally, once you have a system that works for you, then you literally move away from all of that and it becomes second nature. You know, for me, it's something that's actually become a part of my regular routine. So once I create my main budget within my spreadsheet, I'll actually use my Mint app to look at the different transactions that are flowing in and out. And as you can imagine, you know, for most people, the most times that you're stressed when it comes to your money, it's usually when you don't know what's going on. So if it's a part of your regular routine, then you kind of remove that whole stressful element, right? At the end of the day, the idea is to make sure that you're prioritizing your money goals and not feeling like everything is so impossible.
Okay, so next up, I'm going to talk to you about how we actually go about doing our budget, making our budget, and everything like that before we jump into the actual template to show you how that looks. We follow what we call a budget, forecast, and actual approach. So let's break down what that means section by section. So the budgeting piece is what your plan is for your monthly expenses. It's that standard look, that ideal value that you're going to spend month over month in each of those different categories that you've broken into. This is like saying you'll spend $1,000 on rent every month, $300 on food, $150 on entertainment, and $1,000 in savings, just as a quick example. Next is the forecasting piece, and this is what comes at the beginning of every single month. So this is actually breaking out what you exactly plan to spend throughout the month that's about to come up. So for me, because I try to stick to a pretty rigid budget, it's going to look pretty similar to my main standard budget, but it might be basically breaking out things like that $150 on entertainment or whatever that category is. What is that actually going to be for this month, right? So is that $50 on books, $100 on eating out, whatever it might be. So for this section, we use a budgeting app called Mint that we love, and we talked about it before. What's great about it is that it's synced up to your bank account or bank accounts if you have multiple, and it actually draws in everything that you're spending as it's happening in real time throughout the month and actually places it in the category you've laid out in your budget. So at the beginning of the month, again, in that app, you can actually put all those budget categories in and be more specific than your standard budget. And then as your transactions flow in throughout the month, it'll tell you if you're going close to being over your different projected budget categories, if you're coming in under, or right on the yellow, I guess, right on the budgeted amount. So that's a great way to actually keep you accountable day by day throughout the month. So that's why we do that section in the Mint app. So last up is the actualizing piece. And this is where you can actually, and we do this part in our budget template, enter in the amounts that you've made, so your income, what you've spent, your expenses, and then what you've saved, so savings or investing, throughout the month after the month has already passed. So as the month comes to an end, you're actually doing that recap, or you could do this every few months, whatever works best for you, but you're actually entering in exactly what you actually did spend. And then if you use our template, which we'll show you in just a second, it'll automatically calculate for you how that projects through the entire year. Okay, so now that you know our approach, we're going to hop into the budget template to show you specifically the budgeting and the actualizing piece and what that looks like for us. So let's jump right into it. Okay, now you can see we're set up at the laptop, and let's jump into the budget template. But first I want to go over how you actually download the budget template, because we get a lot of requests for people to have that shared with them on Google Sheets. So what you do is you're going to go File and make a copy for yourself. So overall, if you do want to download this, you're going to make a copy. We can't let you actually add it in there because everyone needs to be able to have their own copy and make it from there. So that's what you're going to do, and then you should be able to edit all of the different tabs yourself. The first one you're going to see is the instructions tab. This is where we go over kind of everything we went over in this video too, but a little more detailed on how you can go back and actually know how all the calculations are made. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So you can delete that tab if you don't want it, or you'll have it there to reference how to use everything afterward. And now on to the budget tab. So this is the first section, and you've seen us use something very similar to this. We've actually gotten requests to include this in a budgeting template before, so here it is. If you go back, and we'll link one of our videos before that we've done, how we lay out our standard monthly budget. So this is our goal. Every month, if it did all look the same, this is what these categories would look like. And then obviously things change as you go on throughout the year and you iterate, but this is your starting point that you do one time. Okay, so let's show you what that would look like. So the first section up here is your expenses. We have a bunch of categories in here kind of based on what we spend and some generic categories. You can change all of this out. The only ones that you shouldn't be deleting are these ones down here. They have calculations and formulas in them. But any of these sections up here in the categories that you budget with, you can delete, change them, edit over it, whatever works for you, customize it to yourself. But basically what you'll be doing, and let's take you through an example, and you see these blank pie charts over here. So let's say you're entering in your rent. You'll start to see how they show in that monthly budget typical expenses pie chart for you too, so you can see the breakdown. And it also goes down to your monthly expenses, monthly income, and savings totals down below as well. So let's fill out an example of what this could look like. I'll just use some random figures to take you through it. It's a low amount on coffee. And if you spend 0 on something, that's fine too. And again, remember this is per month. Okay, there you go. So let's say that your monthly expenses were $1,910. That's what I ended up with here. You can see how the actual breakdown looks on this pie chart, and you can make it bigger too. You can always customize this for yourself depending on how many expenses you have. But it brings you down to what your monthly expenses total will be and your yearly expenses total. So you can see that at a glance too. And then you can edit this budget and actually decrease some of those categories or increase them if you want to be able to do that afterwards. So you'll also have to enter in manually your income as well, your monthly income total. So for the sake of this, let's say it's $3,000. It gives you your yearly income total too in this section as well. And then it gives you how much you have to save, because that's going to be what's left over. So that's going to be your monthly income total, subtracting your expenses total, and the rest could go into savings that you can divide up later into savings or investing. But that's all calculated for you here, and you'll see how much you'd be spending, making, and saving on a yearly basis according to your figures. So if you go down to the next section, you'll see here, this is the monthly savings allocation. So now you can break up that amount that you are going to be saving on a monthly basis into how it's going to be split up. So is it going to be in your emergency fund, your general savings, or investing? We give 2 different investment account options because if you follow us, you know that me, for example, I use a passive investment account and my more actively single stock trading account. But again, you can customize that for yourself as well. So let's put in a few figures here so you see how this works. Let's just do like 500 in each. The numbers might not make sense, but we'll show you what it looks like. So the second pie chart here for you is your monthly budget of savings breakdown. So you can see your percentage basis of how you're saving and investing, how much you're doing of each. And then when you scroll all the way to the bottom, you see how all of that flowed through to give you your overall more high-level monthly budget. So this includes the high-level buckets of your spending, as well as your saving and your investing. So you can see overall how you're spending your money, saving and investing it all in one place. So that's what this tab looks like. Again, it'll be a clear version for you, and you can customize it to yourself based on what your categories are, but that's how you'll be able to use it and actually see and always glance at this tab to see what you're aiming for. And then when you get to Den's section in a second that he's going to show you, you can see how you're actually tracking it towards that.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hop right into our actuals tab and I'm gonna explain everything here in a second. So you're gonna notice when you're looking at this tab that it's kind of familiar if you had our previous budgeting template that was on our website. So going back to this budgeting tab, basically what happens here is at the beginning of your budgeting cycle, or whenever you start, whether that's at the beginning of the year or at some point later in the year, whenever you do start, this is where you're gonna ask yourself, how much am I gonna be spending on rent? How much am I going to be spending on internet, whatever. Whereas your actuals tab is going to be where you're putting in what's currently happening for that specific month. So if we look at January, we have all of our different categories here. We've got our income, we've got our saving and investing, we've got all of our expense categories as well that all feed into different totals. And then at the very bottom, we have where everything nets out. So where you're going to have your closing balance. So you're going to have From a column perspective, you're going to have your totals for the individual months. And then if we scroll all the way to the end here, this is going to be your totals for the entire year. So let's say, for example, I got paid a salary of $1,000 in January. You're going to have the total for that month there, but you're also going to have the total for that entire year for that specific category at the end. And really, once again, if you want to forecast and you want to change things up, what we use on a daily basis is Mint, but this is what we use as our core, planning tool. This is what we're going to be using to plan out things from the beginning, and this is where we're going to have all of our actuals to actually be able to reflect on what happened, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's pretty much what we have here. Once again, if you want the template, it's up on our website, and let's get it. Alright guys, so that's a wrap on this budgeting video. We hope that you actually like seeing our full budgeting approach. Once again, we're gonna have a link down below to our budgeting template. It's on our website, so yeah, go check it out. It's free once again. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever, drop them down below. If you haven't checked out any of our previous videos, make sure you do check them out next door. We will be back. You know the vibes. Let's go.